gonna set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey Allen. How's everyone today on this great weekend? Welcome all my narrators. Welcome to anyone new that may be currently listening to this feed. So, my regular listening audience is my narrators. They already know the score. So what I'm going to do is just give you a brief rundown to anybody new that may be unfamiliar with my platform and what it is I do. So let's start with the name, the narrative. Where did I get the narrative from? I believe, it's my personal belief that the liberal media, mainstream media, flips the narrative in respect to our people. They put this really distorted image of us out in any type of news that happens, whether it's positive or negative. They find a way to, just spin the narrative and, focus that lens on all the negativity and no positivity. And that's kind of where I got the narrative from, because they want to, put us out and display us the way they want to display us to fit their narrative. And what is their narrative? They basically want us to, not thrive and survive and to be viewed as equals or just human beings, period. They want to present us as, subhuman, and just really portray us as hostile, violent, lazy, just, the usual suspects. So on my platform, what I wanted to do is just dedicate a platform where I'm showcasing us and highlighting us at our best. And how I'm doing that is just basically presenting positive frames of reference, positive stories that come across my radar, just basically highlighting, showcasing original people excellence. Now, I know you're thrown off by the word original. I just had a recent epiphany about saying the word black. First and foremost, I'm not ashamed of being black. So it's not a self-hatred thing by not saying the word black. It's actually self-awareness. Because we didn't choose to get called that. The powers that be assigned us that word. And that word has negative connotation and produces negative actions every time you say it. You can look up the word black in any dictionary, in any thesaurus. You will see all the negative nouns, verbs, and adjectives describing the word black. They'll use things like black, a black state, depression, gloomy, and the list goes on. So on my platform, what I've decided to do is replace the word black with original, because we were the original man and woman on this planet, and that is a scientifically proven fact. There is no continent, region on this entire planet that we were not originally located at, including the Americas. So while Monday's rolling around, Christopher Columbus discovered America, and I'm doing air quotes, but I'm on the audio platform. You can't see it. We was already here. Yeah, we was already here. So, and then also Thanksgiving is coming up, where we know the Puritan white Christians came over here and dominated the Native Americans. And that was also us, who was already here. But they just decided to call the darker complected ones black. But I digress. So jumping on into my contents. Basically, what I have is like when I first started, I didn't have a format. So now I have a format. I've kind of divvied up my podcast into sections. In each section, I have a speaking points. I'll describe each section as I come to them. And really, why I did that is basically for, time restraint. I believe, if you're just talking and talking and talking without a point, it's just a glorified rant. It's not a podcast. So, that was my methodology behind doing that, is just basically to give everything a nice flow, to keep everything, concise and to the point, and, give it some cohesion. So I'm not just randomly all over the place until I get a co-host and guest and all that good stuff. But anyway, welcome to the Narrative Podcast, and let's get underway. So, my very first section, this section is called the promotional section, and this is an open invite to any original people that own and operate their own business or know of anyone that has their own business and needs or would like some promotion. I'm inviting you to please hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host, and I will gladly promote your business, product, or service on my platform for 110 absolutely for free. And the reason why I'm doing that is to, do my part to help original people keep that original dollar circulating in the original community so we can build, thrive, and grow and prosper. So again, the email address is passionwebmail, passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. Body of the email, tell me all the specifics about your business. If you have a brick and mortar location, tell me the address, hours of operation, or if it's online, just give me your email address. Tell me about your product. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Your background, educational background, your expertise, why you decided to sell that specific product, and like any type of thing, activism you're involved in, things you would do for the community. Does your company sponsor anything? Do you have your own nonprofit organization? Do you pay into one? These are all things the consumers want to know, and for my podcast, this is something I kind of look for, because the only people that's going to help us is us. So The spirit of giving is something we all need to be involved in as far as like us is concerned. As a people, we need to be giving to each other, like giving each other opportunities, networking with one another, co-oping with one another, getting along with one another. So anyway, so if you want the free promotion, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Subject bar, type promo, body of the email, all the specifics about your business, all the specifics about yourself, and I will gladly promote it on my platform for free. All right, on to the next section. This section is called the contest section, and this is a section, in this section, this is a contest I'm promoting. I designed specifically for my podcast, for my listeners, loyal listeners, to interact with you all until I get like a hotline and some other ways so I can like directly communicate with you. I'm giving you the opportunity to win a bulk supply of your favorite snack just by participating in the contest topic. New listeners as well. So it's just like this section is basically like a incentive section to keep listening to me, to start listening to me, to reward you for listening to me. So all that. Yeah, so I'll give you a bulk supply of your favorite snack just by participating in the contest. I don't have a deadline for the contest. I might switch the topic. I'll let you know when I switch the topic. But for right now, the topic is share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. The reason why I want you to share your most recent Shopping While Black experience is to basically, keep that conversation going. Because until we get our own authentic neighborhoods back the way they were before segregation, we're still going to get, racially profiled in places of retail. We're going to get bad customer service. We're going to get followed around the store and observed like we're going to steal something. Some people are just going to be plain old rude and nasty and not make any bones about it. They're going to tell us they don't want us in the store. They're going to tell us why they don't want us in the store. Especially if it's a privately owned business. It's their right to refuse service to anyone. And in that scenario, they'll tell you just why they don't want you in their store. But anyway, to enter the contest, I'm using the exact same email address as I did for the promotion. The way I'm separating them is through the subject bar. So to enter the contest, you hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type chew on this contest / Shopping While Black. Or if you don't want to type out the entire word Shopping While Black, just type SWB in all caps. And in the body of the email, share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. Tell me your mailing address so I know where to send the snack. And then also include what type of snack you want. I can't supply you with your snack if I don't know what you want. It'll be a bulk supply, so it ain't just like a single package of something. It'll be like a bulk supply, so to get you through and get you right. So you got all the details there. The only thing I ask is when you're sharing your Shopping While Black experience, to just please give me a very brief summary I don't want the entire, I woke up this morning, I drove. I don't want all the backstory. I just want the highlights, like what happened, how did you know it was racially motivated, and what happened as a result of it. Did you follow up with some action? What happened? Just like try to keep it to like about 5 to 6 paragraphs. All right. So now we're going to dive into basically the meat of my podcast. This is the highlight section of my podcast, and what I'll basically be doing is highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. So, and in this section, what I'm doing is providing the positive frame of reference for entrepreneurialism. Original people, are dutiful. We like to do for stuff. We like to do for our community, but we're often portrayed as lazy and dependent upon the system. So in this section, what I do is I just basically look for just regular schmegler people. They got sick and tired of being sick and tired of the 9 to 5 life, and want to do something different with their life. So they decided to open a business. Also, they either had little to no education, or the education that they did have didn't necessarily line up with the business that they opened. They probably didn't have a whole lot of money to start either, but somehow they just found a way and made it work. So basically, I'm just, I want to project the image like if you want to do it, if you want to start your own business, you can do it. These people did it. It can be done because, they weaponize this video content against us. They constantly bombard us with these negative stereotypes, negative stigmas, and it does wreak havoc on your psyche. So it's psychological warfare when they do that. But, on my platform, I basically just want to provide that ray of light that, it is possible. Not necessarily saying their method might work for you. We're all different people. Everybody's situation is different. I don't know your motivation for working a 9 to 5. I don't know your motivation for wanting to start your own business. But I'm just showcasing, highlighting people that want to start their own business and then found the resolve and follow through. That's what I'm doing in this section. So my qualifying factors are original people, owned and operated, of course. They have a sense of community. They donate their resources to the community. They either have their own nonprofit organization, pay into a nonprofit organization, or sponsor something for the community that they are rooted in. Then also my last qualifying factor is it aligns up with my theme. And my current theme is the season of fall or autumn, whichever term you prefer, fall or autumn. But yeah, so these next businesses I will be highlighting check all those boxes. So types of businesses today. So it's if you come from a four season state. My last 4 broadcasts, I said 3, like winter, summer, spring, fall. So that's 4 seasons. So if you come from a 4 season state, the weather's changing. It's getting much cooler. In fall, it tends to, agitate allergies. People with, allergies, and then some people that don't have allergies. There's something floating around in the air that just kind of like, can result into like, a runny nose, and you're going to need to blow it. That was my methodology behind what businesses I'll be highlighting today. And so the types of businesses I will be highlighting today is like toilet paper companies. I originally tried to do tissues, but just only toilet paper popped up. So I'm pretty sure there are some, tissue companies out there. Some original people own tissue companies, but you can also use toilet paper to blow your nose too, not just to wipe your behind. So that's where the direction I was going at is something to wipe your nose in this the season of fall. So the next few businesses I'll be highlighting are toilet paper companies. So first business I'll be highlighting is Ultra Cosmic 9. The owner's name is Christian Sims. Physical address 2 University Plaza Drive, Hackinsville, New Jersey 07601. Also reach him at information at ultracosmic9.com. And cosmic is spelled with a K. And I'm just telling you that to make sure you log on the right thing. Don't spell it the correct way. COSMIC is spelled with a K, their brand. Also, the website is ultracosmic9.com. And then they also advertise on Instagram, ultra_cosmic9. Okay, so a little bit about the brand. It's affordable. It is 100% biodegradable. It's made from bamboo. It's family owned and operated. Their mission statement is to create jobs for the original community. I'm saying original community, but in the article it said black community. So, but I already told you why I don't say black on my platform. They started amid the pandemic. They noticed, toilet paper was in high demand. Or he noticed. I'm saying they. He founded the business. Christian. So decided to just go ahead, take a gamble on toilet paper. So, I already told you his brand is eco-friendly. So that's the curveball he's throwing with that. And the types of things he does with the profit is he takes care of the community. He hires his own. He sponsors things within the community, and donates, some product to like the less fortunate, probably like shelters and whatnot, in places where they would need toilet paper for those in need. So let's give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Christian Sims and the Ultra Cosmic 9 toilet paper brand. Alrighty then, on to my next business I will be highlighting. This business is called Leafy. I believe it's just called Leafy. Hold on. I might not have recorded that correctly in the notes. Just double check. So I just seem to remember the name being a little bit longer than I actually wrote down. Woo! Okay, it's called Leafy Products. And the website address, or the founder, jumped ahead of myself, it was founded by five people: Charles Peaks, Troy Cherry, DeAndre Martin, Marvin Green, and Anthony Caldwell. Um, Web address is www.getleafyproducts.com. Leafy Product. They also advertise on Facebook. Leafy Products on Facebook. They launched it in 2020 amid the pandemic. The company is based out in Columbus, Ohio. Essentially, their businesses were kind of affected. They're all entrepreneurs. It didn't say what each one of them was doing before they collaborated on starting the toilet paper brand. It only said one of them was running their own barbecue shack, a barbecue grill, and the pandemic adversely affected his sales, with the 6 feet apart and all that. So they are just, like-minded, came up together. They noticed, back in that pocket where everybody was fighting over toilet paper. So they decided to start their own toilet paper brand. And they did it kind of as a selfless act. They want to spread awareness about, environmental issues, ecology. Their brand also is made of bamboo, and their main goal is their mission statement basically is to give back to the community. That's their entire mission. They help small businesses get off the ground, give them all the resources they need to, help their businesses thrive. They also pay into several nonprofit organizations. They don't organically have their own yet, but they said they're working on it. They also sponsor several things in the community, and they donate their product to the less fortunate. So let's give it up for Leafy Products brand. Charles, Troy, DeAndre, Marvin over at Leafy Products. Give him a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause. Thank you, gentlemen, for your efforts. All right. And my last business I will be highlighting today is Triumph brand toilet paper. And the Triumph brand was founded by trying to see, sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. Keisha Gibson and her husband, punch it up. I don't know what the heck. Triumph Tissue Zabian, okay, Zabian and Keisha Gibson. That's a husband and wife team. They decided to start their own brand. Also during the pandemic, they had a host of other small business ventures they were involved in. And then they also have an ebook that they have. Um, Trying to get the name of the ebook. Creating the Life You Truly Deserve. That's the name of their ebook. And they also advertise on Instagram, so check that out. Their IG page. Um, it doesn't really say too much how they transition their journey, so I can't like give you something I didn't find. But they seem to be like really dutiful. They're doing for their community. They're definitely family owned and operated. Their husband and wife. So it's definitely a brand to check out and support. They donate to several charities in the community. I think probably some motivational speaking stuff is coming from them in the near future. So check out Triumph brand toilet paper and give it up for Zabian and Keisha Gibson. All right, moving right along. On to my spotlight section. My spotlight section is basically a section where I am giving roses to people in the entertainment industry. Primarily in the entertainment industry, I highlight other people too. I give you a brief spotlight, other people too, just basically anybody, any original person doing something positive. So, also, so it's just like the types of people that I spotlight are actors, actresses, writers, producers, athletes, comedians, anybody in sports, anybody in entertainment, public figures as well. Just basically anybody in the eye of the public, getting a whole lot of this has a polarizing platform. I spotlight them, and I spotlight them for basically speaking on the cause, donating to the cause, using their platform, like, in their interviews, if they go on any talk shows and they're asked about, our plight as a people, that they got, they got some conversation about that. They don't just try to spin it in a Hollywood way and try to play the safe answer. They really speak their minds and are unapologetic on their stance and views. Also, like, doing the work, having, starting their organizations, speaking on boards and committees, and speaking with our youth. Just basically giving back to the community, just basically, being a stand-up original man or original woman, or the way they care and conduct themselves as a good reflection on all of this. Those are the types of people I spotlight on my spotlight section. Um, and to my own credit, something I keep saying and I'm going to keep on saying till somebody proves me wrong. I believe I started the way for spotlighting because when I started my podcast and added the spotlight section, nobody on YouTube, nobody on the internet, with probably the exception of Drink Champs, but they really kind of only focus on the hip hop genre, was spotlighting anybody, nobody. So, this internet makes the world small, and that's kind of my motivation to keep moving forward because now I'm seeing just like tidal waves of people having, a spotlight section in their content. So I'm not angry at it at all. That's kind of the goal and purpose of my platform that actually makes me happy that I'm causing some type of change. Because my goal is, my belief, my philosophy is that we're all narrators with these handheld devices that we carry. We have the power to change the narrative to some small capacity by posting positive content. And that's ultimately, the ultimate takeaway I want my listeners to get from the Narrative Podcast experience is how important it is to post positive content online about us and our culture. To showcase and highlight us at our best, like somebody doing good, somebody doing for the community, somebody being a good mother, somebody being a good father, somebody being a good mentor, a role model. Just doing something good, something selfless, something that adds to the human experience here on this planet. Not always, just always something negative, always in violence, always all these attributes we didn't have before we got introduced into a different influence. Because I also talk about our true nature on my platform. So acting out of our true nature, which is love, which is respect, which is harmony, which is teaching. Big core, true nature of us is being teachers. We taught the entire planet. We mothered and fathered this thing called civilization. So we definitely, by nature, are teachers. We taught every other culture on the planet how to survive. But I went a little over the deep end with that, but I think you get the point. So on to the spotlight section. Today I will be spotlighting Mr. Hill Harper. So born May 17th, 1966. Wiki says Iowa City, but I thought he was, another source said he was from Winterset, Iowa, but whichever. He's been acting since age 7, graduated from Bella Vista High School in 1984. Then he graduated magna cum laude in 1988. In 1992, he graduated J.D. cum laude from Harvard. He got his big break on. He got his first Hollywood break on Fox's Married with Children with the reoccurring role as Aaron Mitchell. And then in that same year, Confessions of a Dog. He got his big breakthrough, major mainstream breakthrough on Spike Lee's Get on the Bus. So he's been acting for quite some time. He does all genres of acting. He does like rom-coms. He does, the serious stuff, dramatic. He was on several seasons of NCIS. On CBS, I think probably like over 5 seasons. Um, he's just an actor for all seasons. Very versatile, very believable. Everything he plays in. He also has broken the ceiling and broken that stigma that you need to be 6 feet or taller to be a leading man. He's really barely over 5, but he brings it. Um, he's written several books. One of my personal favorites is the Letters to an Incarcerated Brother. I can directly lock into that because in my family, like just most of the males, that's what I grew up seeing coming in and coming out of the penitentiary. My father currently serving a life sentence right now. Um, he's always just really, he's very articulate. He's always speaking on the cause. Um, I believe his personal philosophy is financial right now. He's really putting a whole lot of financial information out there, and he's coming with that, philosophy. The key to our liberation is through, understanding money. And I can I can really say I respect that. And so he's putting a whole lot of knowledge out there, a whole lot of information on, how to acquire money, what you need to know about it, and how to apply it to, get, the tangibles that we're so denied by our governments. Not just here in America, but as broad as well, Our brothers and sisters in the UK got it just as bad or probably worse. And other places, anywhere where the original man and the original woman reside, we got it bad. So, it's very freeing when you hear somebody coming up with the answers instead of always identifying the problem. I definitely don't think we celebrate him as much as we should as an entertainer, and definitely not, enough as, an activist, because he is an activist. He's involved in, several different things for children. He's written a children's book, actually. He's definitely locked into the community. Like I said, he's really delivering, financial advice right now for our people, all kinds of webinars and, other resources we can utilize to, become more financially literate. And I can just really go on hours and hours and hours speaking about, all the things he's involved in, but just that's what personally did it for me is, his consistency. He came in the game an underdog being from the state of Iowa, because when you think Iowa, you don't even think, like that's mostly the first thing people say is Iowa. I didn't even know that they had black people that live in Iowa. So I know on my platform I try not to say black, but I was just trying to make a point. But anyway, so definitely educated, definitely astute, definitely motivational, impactful, has a polarizing platform, and does a tremendous service to the cause by way of just reaching out to people. He started some passion projects. The Letters to a Young Brother was just actually a passion project that morphed into a whole thing. It resonated with so many people. He did, of course, the female version of it where he's writing sisters in the correctional facility, because I think we tend to forget that they go through it too when they get incarcerated. So, Um, really don't, just kind of at a loss for words right now. I just don't really know what else to say. I hope to interview him. I hope one day he'll be like one of my first guests uh, that I get to interview, because I definitely hit him up. He never hit me back. But you know how you can go see. So the message was on red. So I don't know. I'm speaking into the atmosphere. I'm speaking into the universe that I get to interview the brother. But in the meantime, salute to you, Mr. Hill Harper. Thanks for all you've done for us as a people, and I hope you continue to grow and thrive. And you know, salute. So that's the end of the spotlight section. I'll give a warm narrative podcast round of applause for Mr. Hill Harper. All right. So on to my next section. This section is called the health and wellness section, and what this section I'm doing is basically giving you tips on how to, pursue and maintain an active, healthy, fit lifestyle. And why I feel that is important, because we are, at the target of most all diseases. They're literally, these mad scientists are literally up in the laboratory, whipping up things in our food, putting things in the air. I know you heard about chemtrails, things in the water. Come on now, Flint, and there's this most recently in Mississippi. Like, so it's not me on some conspiracy theory kick. They are really trying to eliminate us up off this planet. Putting things in the air, putting things in the water, putting things in our food that directly target our unique cellular structure, aka melanin, to break it down or just completely eradicate it. So we need to be basically armored up, because they're also, what they're not doing to us physically, they're doing to us mentally. They're weaponizing this media. They're weaponizing the images we see on television, the images we see in literature, magazines. It's like basically like just mental warfare, spiritual warfare, financial warfare. We're getting attacked on all fronts, so we need to be armored up. In this section, that's what I'm attempting to do, just sharing tips that will keep you healthy, active, and fit, so that your immune system doesn't become compromised and you fall victim to all these things, all these pathogens, and airborne B words floating around in the atmosphere. So if you do happen to get sick, and everybody does and will get sick, everything in nature does, but your recovery be speedy if you take good care of yourself. So basically in this section, I'm just teaching you good, clean things to put into your body and your mind. I usually focus on, the benefits of a fruit, vegetable, plant, herb, extract, roots. Sometimes I do physical exercises, mental exercises like, mindful breathing, meditation, prayer, things like yoga, and just basically the things that just keep you healthy, active, and fit. Sometimes metaphysical stuff. But today's health and wellness tip is the health benefits of yeah, right now. Oh yeah, the health benefits of squash. And why is squash? It is fall, autumn, so squash is in season right now. There's many different types, many different varieties, many different cooking methods. You definitely can eat all of them raw, but ew, why would you? The seeds, you can eat it pretty much the entire thing, except the outer rind on squash. Um, they come from a flower, they got seeds. So they're a rich source of carotenoids. And carotenoids was basically the enzyme that gives the any plant color. Rich in antioxidants, which means it burns fats. Also contains lutein, which is a good source that is essential for eyesight. So, improves your vision. Lycopene, which is basically an anti-inflammatory. And if you ever follow Dr. Sebi, inflammation is the root cause of all diseases. So after, your joints get inflamed, gets inflamed in your body, all these other symptoms will ensue. So if you cut down on the inflammation, then you'll be more healthy, active, and fit. There'll be less toxins in your body. They're definitely good for gut health. Squash will clean you out thoroughly to get rid of all that undigested hard bile in your stomach and on your stomach, the walls of your stomach, all that plaque and all that bile, they can flush that out. They also help you maintain your glucose levels, helps regulate your blood sugar, and improves heart health. So squash is definitely a good thing to be eating right now in this season. As it's so richly abundant in the season of fall, like everywhere you look, it's either pumpkin or squash. Particularly like acorn squash and spaghetti squash. Like those are the biggies right now, but like all varieties of squash are good for you, no matter what variety of squash you like, because it's a preference. Like whatever type of squash you like, that's the type of squash you should be eating. But definitely consume some squash. It's very versatile. You can dry roast it in the oven. You can make soups. You can make consommes. You can make souffles, breads. But just eat some squash. Get some squash in your life. And that will conclude the health and wellness section. And on to my speaking point. Speaking point of the day is basically in this section, what I'm doing is addressing our issues. Anything currently going on in the news that either directly pertains to us or, things that may potentially pertain to us. What I do in that section is basically try to attempt to control the narrative and tell our story, because history has shown if you don't tell your own story, you'll have your story told for you. And that's what a whole lot of what's going on in the world today right now, and why we're so messed up as a people, because the narrative has been flipped and they've been inaccurately telling our story. So if you're going to tell our story right. In this section, basically, I just weigh in on current issues from our perspectives. Sometimes if I don't have anything in the current news, I might just, go like by the seat of my pants, just, something that I've been pondering about that relates to us, things I notice in our community that we do, including myself. as a people, just something we might need to work on, or just something we might need to think about. But anyway, on to my speaking point of the day. First speaking point is I actually wanted to do that speaking point on my live, but I didn't make it to it because I kept having technical difficulties. And what I guess I figured out what I was doing in my lives. I got like a plug-in mic, and then like when I'm talking, I'm sitting in the swivel chair, and I swivel around, and I guess the mic was hitting like the stop button on my thing that I got my podcast on, so it was tapping the stop button. But anyway, what I was about to say, I want to weigh in on or speak on this brother. He's been trending. Tag him if you've seen him. I've seen him in quite a few videos. I believe he's a representative of the Black Panther Party out in Milwaukee. I seen one video where he had confronted an Asian store owner who had assaulted his sister in one of those like beauty shops that put hands on her. He came up and said something to him, and he's a large brother. He's very, very big. He has to be well over 6 feet, well over 200 pounds, and he looks like every club bouncer ever. Like he looks like what they call it, a compilation. A composite, excuse me. I say a compilation, a composite of like every bouncer ever. But he's a very large brother. Not afraid to speak his mind. He marched up in there with authority. On a couple instances, and then another one, it was a convenience store where they had sold a minor some cigarettes, and then I think the store owner had put hands on the sister, and they went in there and confronted him. He went in there with authority, confronted him, and they backed down and yielded to the demands. And then the most recent one was at this place called Crab du Jour, and he had the owner, who was also /bartending that night, had dashed a drink in a sister's face. And it's already alcohol, but it was like lemon infused alcohol. So it's like now she's partially blind. They don't know if her sight's gonna come back. She got an eye patch on, but he went up in there with authority, got up in their face and was like, we're gonna shut you down. We're gonna file charges, and like basically I'm gonna be on your ass every single day until like she gets some compensation, or like you're out of business. You're not going to be, treating our sisters like that. And so I think that's the energy that we all need to have in concerns to our sisters, because, again, like the media, we never see footage of that, us going up the bat for our sisters. They try to like drive a wedge between us. They try to do it with politics. They try to do it with money, with finances. Like they might, these 9-to-5 jobs, they'll pay a sister like $100,000 more. 5 or 6 figures more than they would a brother, and that's intentionally done to like separate us. You know what I mean? Because it's like Who can she date in her tax bracket? And you cannot be the man of the house if your finances ain't right. So it's intentionally done. Another way they separate us is through, this mass incarceration. They target all the heterosexual alpha males, like bust them on like bogus charges, trump the charges up, and now they sitting incarcerated, and the sisters are sitting at home by themselves, like, because everybody else is in jail. You feel me? So like, who do they got to date? They have to date outside their race, and if they date outside of their race, that'd be the end of our race. If you pick up what I'm putting down. So, but anyway, I say all the time on my platform, our power lies within our unity. Like, we need each other. We're symbiotic. Original man needs the original woman. The original woman needs the original man. We complement each other. I can't overshadow you. You can't overshadow me. Our energies have to be in sync. That's what makes good relationships. Like, you can just tell when a man got a good woman in his life. You can tell when a woman got a good man in her life. The energy, it syncs up. You know what I mean? Like, there's no gender-defined roles. It ain't, none of that. No friction when it's a functional relationship. I mean, it ain't going to be perfect, like, for human beings, you know what I mean? It's going to be arguments, it's going to be headbutting, but it ain't nothing to where I'm going to drive, you're going to do something to drive me away from you. I'm going to do something to drive you away from me. But anyway, the situation was at Crab du Jour, and the brothers stood on business, and we don't see too much of brothers standing on business, not backing down from the powers that be when they violate. So I wanted to talk on that on my live on Thursday, but I didn't get a chance to because, I just didn't properly plan for it. But I definitely wanted to talk about that story. And then also, I want to backtrack. I talked about the whole Kanye West thing. I saw the interview, and he did just what I said he was going to do in my live. If you go back and listen to my live, I told you he was going to have an interview explaining, the meaning of this shirt. I said that in my live on Thursday, and then lo and behold, on Friday, he did an interview explaining, this shirt. He gave this big background story about his father and, his growing up situation and the way he looks through his lens, how he sees life and all this, but he still didn't put it in context. It's still like typical Kanye WTF behavior. Like I said, you ain't got to do all that, bro. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to shuffle. You ain't got to tap dance. You ain't got to do all that because it still didn't make no sense. He still didn't make it make sense. He still didn't make it make sense. Even with this big, vocabulary and how articulate he was speaking on the show, he still failed to make the gesture make sense. And that's just typical Kanye behavior. And it's also typical behavior. He has these little glitches around election time. Befriended Donald Trump, election time. Said slavery was a choice, election time. Hugged Donald Trump's lap, sat on Donald Trump's, wore the MAGA hat, election time. You can really set your watch to every time he has some type of mental inconsistency, every time he has some type of background mental breakdown, it's always around election time. He's normal all throughout the year, not dipping, not bopping, not doing nothing, but up come election time, like he's doing some crazy shit. Excuse my language, I try not to curse, but like every time. And I don't have nothing against the brother. I got the utmost respect for him as a man, as an artist, as an entrepreneur, whatever. But like, he just be like way over the top for no reason. And he got a polarizing effect. He has a polarizing platform, and I just feel he needs to utilize it better. Like, think before you speak, think before you do things. Like, how does this look? How does this sound? Like, you got enough money to pay people. I nominate Tip to be your like PR representative. You should run all your little speeches by Tip before you just get to opening your mouth saying stuff in public. I mean, for real. Like, I think he can do a good job at articulating you to people. Yeah, that's all the energy I want to spend on that. Like I said, I don't got nothing against the brother, but just like I said, in true Kanye fashion, he went and backtracked, doubled down, and explained his actions. He always says he don't care what people think about him, but if you don't care about what people think about you, then why are you always putting yourself in the position where you got to explain your actions? I mean, if you don't care, just don't care. Don't, like, you know what I mean? Don't double down. And like I said, it still didn't make any sense. His explanation, his rationale behind, the shirt still didn't make any sense. If you don't take things out of context, you won't ever have to have a reason to put them in context. So that was just so far left and so nothing that had to do with nothing. Like, just why would you? Like, you just shouldn't do certain stuff. You just shouldn't do certain stuff. Like, that. He's intelligent enough to know that. And like I said, if this wasn't election time, the shirt incident never would have occurred. Trust and believe it. If it wasn't election time, the shirt incident would have never occurred. Because, like, you had all year to make that statement. You could have made the statement in the summertime. You could have made the statement in the springtime. But no, you wait to right specifically at election time to wear the shirt. And like I said to my point on Thursday, the only thing we need to be worried about as a people is reparations. No matter what candidate you choose, if you believe in the political process, to each their own. But the only thing we need to be worried about is getting the conversation of reparations on the table from each candidate, from Democrat to Republican to Independent Party to grassroots to red state to blue state to whatever. That's the only thing we need to be worried about. We don't need to be worried about a billionaire's antics. We don't need to be discussing a billionaire's antics. That doesn't need to be the thing trending all over timelines. Is when he wants to just do what he wants to do. Last thing I wanted to touch on in this section was the Jeffrey Dahmer special. Like, just call it a spade, man. It's again, powers that be. It's psychological warfare. Because who was Jeffrey Dahmer? Jeffrey Dahmer was a cannibal. And who was his main victims? He liked to feast on? Out of all the people on the planet, he liked to feast on the original man and the original woman. Primarily the original woman. That was most of his victims. He eat the booty like groceries a whole new meaning. Like, he was really eating booty. He was eating everything. He ate it all. Fingers, toes, limbs, ears, nose. and we give that a voice, we give that a platform. You see what I'm saying? They just sitting up there like generating trauma. Like Boozy Badass went the hell off on it. And I 110% concur with the brother. It is sick. It is sick. Like, how sick are we as a nation that we would even allow a project like that to exist? Like, how did that make it past, the gatekeepers? How did something like that? Like, I wanted to be in the meeting. I would give anything to be a fly on the wall in that meeting when they went to Netflix and pitched the idea of a documentary for a notorious cannibalist, a guy that eats human flesh. We want to watch a docu-series about that. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're giving somebody that eats people a platform. He's dead now. He's dead. But his legacy will forever live on through that grotesque representation. Like, we don't need to be sitting up in here, giving that a voice. We don't need to be sitting up in here like hero worshiping this animal, this filthy beast that destroyed people. Like, he's beyond like mentally incompetent. He's just sick. He was sick. His whole existence was miserable and sick. And then we're just like regurgitating his sick life. And then you're going to sit up there and spawn a copycat killer. Somebody that wants to surpass Dahmer. They're going to be sitting up there watching and be like, oh my God, that's cool. I want to go eat some people. It's too much. But yet, we can't have strong original people leads. But we can have Jeffrey Dahmer. They try to derail, every positive image for our people, like a family, any show with a strong family structure doesn't last beyond 5 seasons on a network. Some get canceled in the first season. But we got a show about a serial killer. We can't debate the current issues intellectually. They don't get enough ratings. But we got a series about a serial killer. We can't have our youth actively involved in issues on television, but we can do a reality story about a killer, a murderer, a filthy, nasty beast sitting up there devouring human flesh. That's not canceled. The plug is not pulled immediately for that, but the plug's pulled immediately for a strong original people family structure. They pulled the plug immediately when you see everybody, a functional original people family. They pull the plug immediately. They pull the plug immediately when on shows where we're doing something positive, where we're living positive, where we're telling the truth about stuff. They get offended. All these different groups don't say this, don't say that. I'm offended. But no groups is coming out like, where's PETA on this? Where's the outrage on PETA? From PETA about a show about a guy devouring humans. No, we ain't gonna hear about PETA. Like, we ain't gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? I know they do the animals, but we're mammals. So you got a guy devouring flesh, and there's no outrage from any of these groups. All these groups always come out and say something anytime an original man and the original woman say something that they don't like, but they not, like, bombarding Netflix's inboxes and, up at their offices in record numbers with signs boycotting this filthy animal, a story about this filthy animal, confronting the actors and actresses and people involved in the project. Like, it's too much. It's sick. It needs to be destroyed. But like I said, it's a form of psychological warfare. It's a direct message to us. They're all right, making a show about a guy that liked to feast on our flesh. But that's the only point I want to make about the Dahmer thing, and that'll conclude my speaking point of the day. And now we're on to my final thought of the day. So, my final thought of the day is basically to live your life or live your truth. Now, I know I just kind of gave Kanye West the riot act for the way he, lived his truth, but in life you got to live your truth. And your truth only has to make sense to you. If you believe it, stand on it. Stand up and represent it like you mean it. Don't be afraid to lose people. Don't be afraid to be at odds with people. If it makes sense to you, if you strongly believe in something, stand on it. Use your voice, use your talents, use your abilities to bring it into existence, to make it get in the space you need it to be in. It's your truth. It's your life. And I think, as a people, we kind of been brainwashed into being unoriginal and just kind of going with the norm, trying to go on with the crowd. A term, like, especially in the hip hop community, if you don't agree with something, you're immediately being called a hater. Why am I a hater? Just because I'm honest enough to tell you I don't like something. Like, everybody can't like everything. Everything ain't for everybody. Just because I don't like it don't mean know what I'm saying? Like, it don't mean I don't like you. I just don't like that song. I don't like that artist. It don't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? But, you're a hater because you want to live your truth. Now, the difference would be, like, you would be a hater if you're going out of your way to say negative things about people. But if you just respond honestly when you're asked a question, you shouldn't be labeled a hater. You're living your truth. You should, like, okay, I respect that, dog. Because you're not a yes man. You a hater. This is like a whole lot of going along and get along. So just because you don't like something or 110% agree with something, you're a hater. Like, I think that is the most retrogressive thing we do as a people. And we need to come up out of that and just respect each other's stances. And if my stance ain't for you, the interaction doesn't have to end with names being called. You calling me out of my name because I don't agree with you agree with. I don't agree with your perspective. It definitely doesn't need to end in violence because I don't agree with, your perspective, something you believe in. And just, live your own truth. Well, I think I made my points, and I'll put a pin in it here. So join me next week for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. I broadcast every single weekend. In the meantime, to support the Narrative Podcast, download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. You can share it on your platforms too. You can like it on your platforms. But definitely the biggest thing that helps me is downloading them. So wherever you get your podcast from, download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Also, support my poetry blog titled Halsey's Poetry Corner. The address is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. It's powered by Adam. It's on blogger.com. I post original, insightful poems. You're guaranteed to like, a whole one or at least a portion of it will resonate with you. I write them in the moment. I don't premeditate them. Sometimes they, contain typos and grammatical errors, but like they're in the moment. Like I just sit down and just start typing and bam, that's it. So, I'm on that type of creative level with that. But definitely support that, Halsey's Poetry Corner. And the way you support it is every time you see, my link anywhere online, share it back on all your platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Reddit, WordPress, whatever you got, share my poems on your platforms, on all platforms, whatever platform you got, share my poem on it. And that'll help out lots. That'll help my platform grow. I know you want to hear me have guests. I know you want to hear me interview some guests. I know you want to see me transition from this audio platform into a full visual platform where I'm doing like videos and, you want to see my face. So like you want to put the face with the voice. I know that, you guys want to see me and stuff. So a big way to help me do that is, support my poetry blog as well. Like all that combined to help me, like give me the traction I need to transition and platform and do other things. And believe me, I'm for the people. I walk it like I talk it. I'm just not an internet guy, and you're going to see it if you keep on supporting. So, this has been a real one. Thank you for listening. Thanks for all the support you've given me so far, for supporting me. Catch you next week with another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Also, I go live randomly during the week. I don't know what days I'm going to go live, but tune into my podcast on a regular basis so you don't miss me when I'm live. I broadcast directly to YouTube and Twitter when I'm live. So like while I'm doing my live on this platform, it goes just automatically shares to Twitter and YouTube. So a good way not to miss me when I'm live is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Halsey Allen. Subscribe, click the notification bell, and you'll get alerts when I'm live. And also on Twitter, same deal. I'm Halsey Allen on Twitter. So that's how you avoid me missing me when I'm live. I got all kinds of projects coming out to share with you. I share with them as they're completed. Just, stick and stay. Keep on supporting your boy, and you'll keep on getting good quality content. So until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. Thank you all for listening. Peace.
gonna set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.